Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. This is Ariella. First and foremost, on say call halal, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. We send double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Send much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akim, out there pushing the glory of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, in sincerity and truth. And on this lesson is another story of victory in the scripture. This one is of King David's mighty men. What happened was you had King David be crowned as king in Hebron, and so basically he started to accumulate. This was after he was very popular, but he started to get more and more people were defecting from King Saul and going over to David's side. They took Jerusalem, okay, and then in the scripture here, I'm gonna read it here in First Chronicles, the 11th chapter. It's also in Second Samuel. I believe it says it. Yep, Second Samuel 23. There is the talking about the basically his top men, King David's top men that he had in his armies. When you read this, and then you go and read actually chapter 12, it starts to talk about his armies and a little bit more. But here we hear the story of King David's mightiest men, and one of my favorite chapters in the scripture. So I'm gonna read it, and the seeing the type of men that we descend from and hearing their stories of how mighty they are. It's exciting to think about us getting back into a glorious state with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and our strength that we'll have, you know, with the Most High. So no further ado, I'm just gonna read. I have it in the NLT, and I'm already gonna apologize beforehand for butchering some of these names, but I'm gonna do my best. First Chronicles chapter 11 verse 10, it says, "These are the leaders of David's mighty warriors," or his mighty men, right? Together with all Israel, they decided to make David their king, just as the Lord had promised concerning Israel. Here is the record of David's mightiest warriors. The first was Jeshobim, the Hakmonite, who was the leader of the three, the mightiest warriors among David's men. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. All right, so you can imagine, watching Neo from the Matrix go against all these agents Smith, and taking them down. Well, this is actually something that actually happened. This is something that really happened with this mighty warrior here. In one fight, he took down 300 enemies, right? It says, next in rank among the three was Eleazar, son of Dodai, the descendant of Ahoah. He was with David in the battle against the Philistines at Pasdaim. The battle took place in a field full of barley. The Israelite army fled, but Eleazar and David held their ground in the middle of the field and beat back the Philistines. So the Lord saved them by giving them a great victory. Once, when David was at the rock near the cave of Adullam, the Philistine army was camped in the valley of Rephaim. The three, who were among the 30, an elite group among David's fighting men, went down to meet him there. David was staying in the stronghold at the time, and a Philistine detachment had occupied the town of Bethlehem. David remarked longing to his men, "Ah, oh, how I would love some of that good water from that well by the gate in Bethlehem." So the three broke through the Philistine lines, drew some water from the well by the gate in Bethlehem, and brought it back to David. But David refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord. So these dudes were so cold, they were able to sneak into an enemy encampment, completely ridiculously outnumbered, get some water, just because King David was like, "Man, I would like to have some of that water." This is how bad these dudes were, man. Like, we see ninja movies and we see all this type of stuff, but the men of Israel were on a whole nother level. They were on a whole nother level, bro. All right? So we got to keep that in mind. I picture this stuff and I'm like, dang, these are some bad dudes, man. All right? So In verse 19, King David says, God forbid that I should drink this, he exclaimed. This water is as precious as the blood of these men who risked their lives to bring it to me. So David did not drink it. These are examples of the exploits of the three. So that's his top three dogs, his top three lions he's rolling with, right? It says David's 30 mighty men. Abishai, the brother of Joab, was the leader of the 30. He once used his spear to kill 300 enemy warriors in a single battle. It was by such feats that he became as famous as the three. Abishai was the most famous of the 30 and was their commander, though he was not one of the three. There was also Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, a valiant warrior from Kabzeel. He did many heroic deeds, which included killing two champions of Moab. Another time, on a snowy day, he chased a lion down into a pit and killed it. Oh man. Once armed with only a club, he killed an Egyptian warrior who was 7.5 feet tall. So he made Shaq look like a midget. Okay? He huge. Huge dude. Okay? 7.5 feet tall, and whose spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. Okay, and I'll have to look that up. Benaiah wrenched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with it. Deeds like these made Benaiah famous as the three mightiest warriors. He was more honored than the other members of the 30, though he was not one of the three, and David made him captain of his bodyguard. Okay? And then it shows just goes on to list, the rest of the 30. David's mightiest warriors also included Azael, Joab's brother, Elhanan, the son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shammah from Harad, Helez from Pelon, Ira, son of Ikesh from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anathoth, and so on and so forth. As you read here, all these different sons that became a part of King David's army, but the chief part of his army and made up the 30, man. These stories that we read about these mighty men are just pieces of some of the things that they were able to do as they were conquering and taking down and basically building up what we understand as the kingdom that we know about, okay? And just establishing everything over there in the land of Canaan. Okay, so yeah, I thought this is a good story. I always love reading this one because it just makes me kind of reflect and think about how strong our men were back in the day and how strong we will be when Yahweh returns, man. So with that, man, I ain't gonna keep reading. You brothers can go and keep reading it for yourself, man. With that, hey, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you. I came out there pushing the word in sincerity and truth. Shalom.